Cenk Uygur is in the presidential race. He's here making his case on the Karen Hunt Show with this audience. I appreciate him coming through. There's a lot of people that want to talk with you. I'd rather them ask questions than me. I've already asked every question that I think I wanted to ask. Are you up for taking calls?
Oh, of course.
Okay.
And yep, let's do it.
All right. Let's go to Darren in Maryland. Welcome to the Karen Hunter Show. Hi. Darren in Maryland? Yes. Hi. Be ready.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. So, said, why do we have to pressure Democrats? Why do we have to beg them to get them to do what we want? If there was one political party in Washington, then he would have a valid point. But the fact is, there's another political party that's trying just as difficult, just as bad and intense as we want to get things done. They want to stop us from doing what we want to do. So, it's not like Democrats can just do whatever they want to do. There's another party trying to keep them from doing what they want to do. So we either have to put enough people in office to where we can get majorities in both houses of Congress, or I don't know how else you would even do it if you could elect.
Yeah. So let me address that. So number one, that's the excuse that Democrats use. And I don't blame you for having that thought in your head. That you hear that so often in the media that it's hard for you not to have it in your head. But let's take an example. Paid family leave polls at 84%. So who's stopping us? If the Republicans vote against it, 74% of Republican voters want paid family leave. That's 12 weeks off when a woman has a baby, mom or dad can take it. But given 12 weeks off for moms, Republican voters love it. Democratic voters love it. All voters love it. The polling shows it without a shadow of a doubt. So who's stopping us? Okay, the Republicans voted against it. Good. I want them to vote against it. And then you run against them and say these guys hate moms. They want moms back in the assembly line in the coal mines the day after they deliver a baby. Can you believe how anti-mom Republicans are? I don't know why Republicans hate moms. Their voters don't hate moms, but apparently every Republican politician hates moms and wants them in a coal mine serving corporations the day after they deliver. See, this is politics. You got hardball, you got carrots and sticks. Democrats never use the hardball. They never use the stick. You know why? Because they don't mean it. They're not honest. If they were honest, they'd fight like hell for you for that because they got a winning hand. They're throwing away winning hand after winning hand. Gerrymandering, ending gerrymandering. Nobody wants it. The Republican voters don't want it. Democratic voters don't want it. 90% of the country is against gerrymandering. Do Democrats fight for it? No. I mean, we talked about this last time when I was on the show. When the stock market was in peril, they lifted the filibuster in a hot second. They said, oh no, filibuster. We don't care about that at all. They're Senate traditions. My ass. The stock market's in trouble if we don't raise the debt ceiling. So they got rid of the filibuster and made an exception for it. Voting rights, ending gerrymandering. Oh, hell no. That's just minorities. Those are just the people we're tricking into voting for us. That's not the stock market. That's not my money. I don't care about that. So they didn't lift the filibuster. They're not fighting for you. Why don't you elect someone who actually fights for you? Hey, if I fight like hell and I lose on an issue where we got 84%, okay, then we lost. But why? But Biden isn't even trying.
Well, there are. We had Cornel West on the show. He's a progressive, right? I mean, first of all, what's a progressive? What is a progressive versus just the regular run-of-the-mill Democrat?
Yeah, progressive is one that actually agrees with the Democratic agenda and actually wants to do it and is uncorrupted. So doesn't take corporate PAC money and actually believes in the Democratic agenda 100%. And those are the guys that are constantly pushing to get these bills passed. And the people that they're fighting, the first line of defense before you get to the Republicans is the corporate Democrats, which unfortunately is most of the Democratic Party. And I push people like Bernie to fight them harder. Why don't you name the donors of Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema? Why don't you call them what they are? Corrupt. Why don't you talk about how the donations are just bribes, right? Because if you put a spotlight on it, then we're going to have a conversation and their poll numbers are going to go down. They're going to worry about losing their power. Now we're actually trying to get the bill passed. Going, I proposed it once and then they voted against it. Golly gee, what am I supposed to do? Why don't you just admit that you're a bad politician? You retire, go pick up golf.
So why not support Cornel West's his candidacy?
So
Why do you,
look, I love Cornel West, and we worked together a little bit on the Bernie Sanders campaigns, but running as an independent doesn't make any sense. So Karen, you mentioned earlier, you give me two choices between the lesser of two evils. I'm going to pick the one that's lesser. I don't think that's complicated. I totally agree with you. So if the general election is down to Biden and Trump as it was in 2020, people are like, oh, you were against Biden in the primary, so what are you going to do? I'm like, how's this a question? The other guy's a fascist. I'm going to vote for Biden over Trump. That's easy, right? But if Cornell's sitting in there, or as he would say, brother Cornell, sitting there, and he's taking away 3 points from the Democratic candidate, how does that help? Now,
all right,
on the other hand,
I just wanted to make sure that you weren't absolutely crazy, because that was it. That was the crazy test right there. Okay, thank you. You answered it. Let's take trying to get as many people in. Antoine in Chicago. Hi, welcome. Antoine.
Karen, how you doing?
I'm good. Welcome.
Hey, Young Turks, you know what? I actually agree with a lot of things that you're saying. But here, I want you to answer this for me. If you became president, you would, the way our system is here, you would have to have the Congress and the Senate in order to pass the things that you want. So what if you didn't have that? Are you going to do them yourself? What is it?
Executive orders, Antoine. Yes.
Correct. Executive order. So how are you going to overcome that? Even if you have members of the party that want to do it, they're not going to do it because they're not going to go against their donors. So like you were saying, it's all corporate control. Both of these parties, basically, because honestly, are full of SHIT. No matter who you put in there.
All right, your audio, we got it. We got 2 minutes. Your audio sucks. It sounds like you're in a toilet bowl. Okay. Cenk, his point, you got it.
Yeah. So, but by the way, great question. And smart hosts lead to smart audience, lead to smart questions. So thank you.
Okay.
So now let me give you an example that is today, right? So I keep talking about this one issue. Look, negotiating drug prices, etc. Like those pull even higher. There's higher wages. We got to do that. But I'm using paid family leave as an example because it's so clear, right? So now, if I was a president, I would introduce it. I would ask the Senate to introduce it. Now you're gonna say, wait a minute. Now you're gonna have trouble in the House, right? Because the House is controlled by the Republicans. Great, no problem. We say, okay, now there's a whole bunch of Republicans that live that are in purple districts, and they're worried about losing their seats. They're not in deep red districts. So then you put them to a question. Are you going to vote for paid family leave, which the overwhelming majority of your district and your voters want? Or are you going to choose to lose this election? Go ahead, choose to lose it, because I'll have a Democrat in that seat, and I'll pass it as soon as you lose and the Democrats get that seat. Go ahead, I dare you to vote against 84% of your voters. I want you to vote against them so I can get your ass out of Congress and fill it with rim to rim with Democrats who are actually going to vote yes and who are going to pass that bill. So either way you win. Either they vote no and you put a giant spotlight on them, hate moms, hate their own voters, hate their district, get them out, get them out, get them out. The minute you get them out, we get this thing passed. Or what happens in politics a lot is they buckle, but no one's ever asked them to buckle. No one's ever put pressure on them. No one's ever tried. Why don't you elect a Democrat that actually tries? JenkForAmerica.com. And yes, it's true. Biden is going to lose.com.
And she smiles and says that she loves me. Isn't it lovely when the one who loves things is the one who